Right, Sam, I think we're live. Good evening to anybody who's in the channel at the moment. Tonight we're going to be doing a spirit box session followed by a general paranormal chat. Sam has set her spirit box up in a certain way, and I ain't quite sure how she's done it, so I'll let Sam explain to you what she's done. So, do you want to tell people how you've set it up, Sam?
Right. This is basically nothing but an amplifier with some personal decorations on it. The heart of the whole thing is this box here, which looks like a Joe's box, but was produced and made by a guy called Rob Hernandez, and a very extremely good box. I've been using it for the last 3 months with great results. Now, the amplifier is connected to this microphone here, so I can speak electronically. If that communication to us is coming to us electronically, the theory is if we speak electronically, maybe that helps. But as well as that, the stream itself is connected from the computer into the amplifier, which means that Brett could actually take control of this box and do a spurt box session from the UK here to Ireland.
Cool. So, it's something new tonight.
Yeah.
So, how do you want to actually do this, Sam? How are we actually going to do it?
Well, what I can do is I can turn on the box.
Right.
I can speak and explain exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
See if I get a response, and then I can leave it over to you. But there's two ways that we can look at this.
Right.
When you're asking the questions, I'm hearing those questions, and I'm processing it. Do you know sometimes when you do a spurt box session and you're about to ask a question and the answer comes up before you finish? Yeah. If they can tap into our mind process, I can be that transmitter as well, because I'll be hearing you asking the questions.
Right.
But your voice will still be going through the spurt box as well.
Yeah. Right. So, do you want to do it so you start off the session? We'll start to see what we get coming through, and then I'll start chipping in and asking things at the same time. Shall we see how that goes to start off with?
1, 1, 2. Oh.
I thought you were going to start singing then, Sam.
Hello. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, we got feedback, Sam.
You got feedback, so I have to turn it down a bit.
Yep.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right. I'm open the communication to any communicators that are around tonight. I've got to turn the flipping spurt box on.
I was going to say, it does help if you turn the box on, Sam.
It does. Is the audio still good?
Yeah.
There's a bit of tiny bit of feedback. Right, open communication to any communicators that are around tonight. My name is Sam.
I'm Brett.
You may be familiar about talking to me. My name is Sam. Could you do me a favor tonight? And could you talk to my friend Brett?
Did that say yes? Or yeah?
I think so. Brett would like to talk to you if that is okay with you. No.
They don't want to talk to me, Sam.
There sometimes is a confrontation. And many's communicating with us tonight.
Here. Who's here? If anybody in the chat hears anything, feel free to put it in chat, or if there's any question you'd want us to put to the box. That was a bit deep, Sam. What did that say? Hello?
I think so, yeah. I think it's a Brett. Could you talk to Brett? Can you say the name Brett if you wish to talk to Brett, right?
Is there anybody wishing to talk to me who knows me personally? Or knew me personally? What did that say, Sam?
Don't know. We're up a little bit high here.
Is there anybody wanting to come through for anybody who's on the channel at the moment? Can you give us a name of either yourself or the name of whoever you want to communicate with who's actually on the channel currently, please?
I think it just said Rob. Now, Rob is the guy that actually made the box, and his name comes up now and again.
Are we speaking to someone called Rob, or are you looking for someone called Rob? James seems to think it said Phyllis, Sam.
I'm not fully hearing it through the headphones. So it's kind of up to you.
Can you tell us what you are? Are you a dead person? Or were you... Are you a person who's passed on from this side of life? Did that say yes? Hello? That was high-pitched.
Sounded like a female's voice.
Do you want to explain to him, Sam, that it's safe to talk? and not to be frightened of that.
Don't be afraid to come through and talk.
Listen. What do you want us to listen to? You've just asked us to listen. What exactly do you want us to listen to? Or what do you want us to listen for?
Me?
You want us to listen to you? Yes. Yeah. Okay. What do you want to say? That's how be quiet. You've been told. Are you telling me off? No.
Direct response.
If anybody wants to actually join us on the stream while we're doing this, I'm happy to put the link in channel.
Is James saying it's too quickly or too quiet?
No, I think he said someone said quiet. Quickly. It said quickly again.
Oh, it was a quote. All right.
Elephant. Mandy said she heard elephant. It's a strange thing to come through. I know I've put a bit of weight on, but that's just getting cheeky.
Yeah. Well, it's better than what I was called on my last investigation before lockdown.
Was it to see you next Tuesday?
Yeah, a fast see you next Tuesday. It's one of the best fucking EVPs I've ever done out of that spirit box that I was using, the 12-5.
I'm just going to put the link in channel, Sam, just in case Deb or anybody wants to come on, or Heather. They're more than welcome.
Don't worry, Brett is a friend. He just wants to talk to you. We just like contacting you and speaking to you because we don't understand your words. And we come as a friend, we come in peace. I said that. That sounded like...
We come in peace, shoot to kill.
I come as a friend, I come in peace.
Shall I try the big no-no question, Sam? Can you tell us what it's like on the other side? What did that say?
Something weird.
How many of you are here with us currently? Could you give us a number? Could you give us a number of how many people are trying to communicate? As I said, she's heard Brian. Deb said the box said no way, direct response.
Why don't you ask about Dave to see will Dave come up again? I get Dave every session, Gerda.
Do we have a Dave trying to communicate? Can you say Dave if your name is Dave, please? Did I say yeah? Uh-oh.
Emma.
Mike? Is your name Mike, or are you talking about the mic above the box?
One, two. Could you tell us about Dave? This is actually, believe it or not, a PSP7 circuit. This particular box is made from a PSP7 circuit board. Could you tell us how many candles is on the table in front of me? Just to clarify that you can hear me.
Can you tell me what colour t-shirt I'm wearing? Can you see what colour I'm wearing? That's all blue. That's a god.
Dark, I think. I'm not getting spur box back into the headphones for some reason.
Red. Mandy said she heard red. Do you know what's really interesting, Sam? Nothing that's coming through that box at the moment sounds Irish. There's no Irish accent I can hear.
No, what? Yeah. If I reset this and let it go normal, it will let in snippets of sound, bits of radio. But Rob's friend accidentally discovered this direct response mode. But the thing is, I accidentally found it before I even heard of them finding it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, you have to. There's a reset button, and you press it a couple of times until it just quiets down. You have only about a split second to get a response until it goes quiet again.
Yeah.
You know, which is pretty amazing. You know. Oh, by the way, there's no noise pedal connected to this. This is the way the spirit box itself runs, which is just this.
Do you know what century it is? Can you tell us what century you think it is? Deb said, did it just call Sam a bastard?
I did. It says I did.
Why are you calling Sam that? Do you know Sam?
Yeah, I think I heard the F word there. Yeah. Oh, Anna's here from our live stream. Could you say Anne for us?
Maybe number 5 is self-tuned in live.
On the live stream, I actually got them to say Anne's name on the live stream.
Can you say the name of anyone in this stream? That's say Cecil.
I only got the tail end of it was listening to you. For some reason, the feed is the Spirit Box feed isn't going into my headphones.
Can you say the name of a person who is currently in this live stream, please?
On the telly, can you see any of the names on the screen on the television?
Prince.
That sounds like a child.
Yeah, and it's 9:30.
Can you tell us if you can attach to inanimate objects like dolls? Can you focus through a doll? What did that say, Sam?
I only got the tail end of it, was
Yeah, James, there was definitely what sounded like a child's voice then. Has anyone who's communicating through that box ever encountered an angel? To be honest with you, Anne, I thought I heard it say Anne about 2 or 3 times now. Stop.
Peter.
Peter. Who is Peter? Can you tell us who Peter is, please? Mark says he's heard his name 3 times. Are you Peter?
Another child's response.
Anne wants to know, can you tell her who whispered in her ear, I know, the other night?
Human?
He did say human, didn't he?
I think so.
Well, I'd like to think we're talking to humans, Sam. Are we communicating with anybody through the box who isn't human? Is anyone with us right now not human? Are you something else? I highly doubt the devil's going to put in a personal appearance, John.
No, I normally have to exercise.
Mandy says she sounded like Faye.
I did have a live stream where there was a lot of gnomes and fae coming up for some reason.
Is there anybody with us who would be considered an elemental rather than a spirit? An elemental ether is something that is actually constructed out of what is considered the elemental powers, rather than something that was actually on this planet as a human at any point. So it would be things like a gnome or a goblin, or something that would be tied to, say, air, fire, earth, or water. very much a lot. Most of the Irish folklore surrounds elementals rather than spirits. Did that say Gaia?
Try to set fire.
Could you repeat that, please? Did you say fire or Gaia? Deb heard Gaia. Can you tell us why you mentioned the word Gaia, please? Yeah, and I thought I heard Faith right after I asked her. Are Gaia and Faith connected?
Whisper, yeah.
Deb says she just heard pagan. Mandy's heard earth.
That's it.
Pagan. That definitely said pagan.
I'm just going to grab another 9-volt just in case.
Okay. That definitely sounded like pagan to me then. Would you consider yourself a pagan?
Okay.
Somebody.
Somebody.
Here?
We're here. Who's here?
Just before.
Did that say Lucifer?
It's all. Well.
I don't believe in Lucifer. Get off. Does that say Ma?
I think so.
Stop.
Are any of my family members here?
Jane. Adi.
Could you give me the name of one of my family members who has passed, please?
Mike. Press.
Can you just ask some questions while I roll, Sam?
All right.
Read that.
Could you tell me who Dave is?
David.
David.
David or Dave?
Six.
Where's Ed and Emma tonight?
Did that say 666? I swear to God, that just said 666.
I've missed it.
Thing.
I don't know. 666 doesn't mean a whole lot to me. Just
No,
numbers.
man, I think somebody's taking the piss. Are you trying to frighten us? Or are you joking about? Because it ain't going to work. You're referencing stuff I honestly do not believe in. That was a bit high-pitched.
That was a bit high pitch and kind of a kid's voice. A quarter to 10 at night.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Is there a spurs of a child here?
Yeah.
No.
Or what about Tim? Is Tim here, no?
Really?
Mark.
Push. No.
Who's Mark?
Mark again.
Guys.
We are dead.
Why do they keep saying we're dead?
It's not something that will come up on the radio.
So, are you claiming to be a dead person? That's definitely a child's voice, Sam.
Yeah.
Wait.
9:45 or 9:46 p.m. in the evening. On the radio, unless they replayed something from earlier on during the day on the radio. That's the only time it will come up on the radio.
Did that just say tits?
It says something begin with T, and I'm not quite sure.
Who's that?
Hey, Sam.
I'm here. Who's coming through the top? I'm here. Can you tell us something that makes us understand your word? Because we're trying to
He
understand.
just said try, Sam.
Hello.
Yes, we're trying.
Hello. Who wants to say hello? Do you want to say hello to Sam? Yes. So what do you want to say to Sam?
Sorry, with the electronic.
The person who just said they want to speak to Sam, what message do you want to give to Sam? Gift. You want to give Sam a gift? please.
I think I just got a gift of a headache.
Bucket.
What? That's a dog.
I missed it.
What gift have you got for Sam? Incoming. What is incoming for Sam? That they launched a Scud missile at you, Sam.
Have you people on the street, have you?
I'm sure that just said mailbox, Sam. Is Sam going to receive something in the post? Ask him if they know when my new chair's coming, Sam.
Brett got a new chair. Could you tell me the colour of Brett's chair? What colour did Brett pick? What was the colour of the chair that Brett picked? Can you tell me the colour? Red?
No.
It picked a colour.
Yeah.
No, it's not red. No,
He's insisting it's red, Sam.
Huh?
He's insisting it's red. If I get a red chair, I'm not going to be happy.
No, it's not red.
Heather and James said brown, but it's not brown either. Well, it has got brown on it, but...
Musical. Is there a speaker attached to this chair, Brett? No?
No. I nearly bought the one with inbuilt speakers and changed my mind.
It says musical. It could be reading your thoughts process of what you thought of. You know, you get these game chairs with the speakers in them and stuff. But are we making that fit?
Yeah, exactly. Heather says ask if there's a singer present. Is there a singer present? Is someone coming through who likes to sing? Somebody with a musical background? Is there someone here with a connection to music? Claire said yes. Deb said yes. Do you like to sing?
you want to try a numbers game? With
Yeah, go
cards?
on.
When I show the cards, Breck, can you ask? Can you tell them the color or the number
Okay.
or what's on the card?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I haven't got the shaped cards at the moment, but I have playing cards.
Either my name comes through on spirit boxes a lot. Can you tell us what card, number, or colour, or even suit that Sam is currently holding up, please? Can you tell us the number, the colour, or the suit of the card?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the colour?
Can
Okay, what colour is it? Mandy said shared heart, which so far that's right. Can you tell us the colour of the card? That sounded like blue to me.
yes.
Do you want to reveal the card to see what's on top of you?
Do you want to try another one, Sam?
Do you want to reveal the number and the color to them, and then ask them to copy it?
Okay. The card is the two of hearts. Can you say two, hearts, or red?
Okay.
Okay, Sam's changed the card. Can you tell us the colour, the number, or the suit of the card that Sam is currently holding up?
Yes, sir.
7. I'm sure that said 7 then, Sam.
I'm nearly sure it said it too.
That's right, it's a 7. What colour 7 is it? Or what suit of 7 is it?
Look.
No. Can you give me a color? Can you give me a color?
Cute.
Quiet.
I'll go on to another one, will I?
Okay.
Start.
Right, Sam's holding up another card. Can you tell us the number, the colour, or the suit of the card that Sam is holding up, please? That's ancient.
Yeah.
Left. 11.
No, it's not 11.
No.
Is that?
I'm getting pins and needles in my hands and my face at the moment. Very suddenly.
Can you tell us the colour of the card?
Friend.
No, it's not 10. It's not 11 either.
Man.
It's
Cigar.
2, 3, 4, 5. What's after 5? What's after 5?
Which? French.
No, it's not 10.
Was met. January.
Did I say diamond?
Kind of missed it again. Will I go on to another one, will I?
Find up. I. 50. Test.
Sam, stop cheating and looking.
Dumb.
Dumb. Is Sam dumb for cheating? Right, Sam's holding up another card. Can you tell us the colour, the number, or the suit, please? It's not 6. That was the last one. It's not 6.
German.
It's not 7.
I'll give you a clue. It's what's after 8?
Did that say bollocks?
Cheeky.
Cheeky.
It sounded like it. Four. No,
It's not 4.
4. It's what comes after 8. And it's not after 8. I'm fucking hungry now.
Trust us to pick somebody who can't count, Sam.
Just swap. Wait, do you want another card?
Do you want another card? Do you want a card with less numbers on it?
We just had a laugh there. I'll do another card, will I?
Yeah. Right, what card is Sam holding up now? What is the number, the colour, or the suit?
Oh, really?
Now, it's not 6. Well, it is 6, but that's not the one as holding forward. The one underneath the 6. What is the card that Sam is now holding up? It's not pink.
What's it?
It's not a 6. Jesus.
It's funny how they come up with a number, but sometimes
Yeah.
they a lot of the time they do get it wrong.
Let's try something easier than numbers. What colour is the card?
I heard stop as well. They're probably wondering what the fuck is this all about. You know, are they? Do they think we're treating them like circus performers? You know what I mean?
Yes, Lord.
Do you want to stop playing the card game now?
Forward.
No.
No.
Right, do you want me to pick another card?
Okay, we'll do one more card for you then. Heather says, hold the old deck up, they're bound to get it right. Somebody on that box is obsessed with the number 6, Sam. I've just heard it again. Is the number 6 significant to you? Because you keep saying 6.
We'll go for half a 6, will I?
Okay, final card then. Can you tell us the colour, the number, or the suit, please?
Yes, sir.
Did you say yes, sir?
I don't think so. I'm not quite sure.
Can you see the card that Sam's holding up? Can you see the number?
Everything. Here.
Yes.
Yes. So can you tell me the number, please?
Ring. Exactly.
4.
3. Okay, can you tell me what colour the number 3 is, please?
You say
Say something.
most.
Let's say rose.
Most. Sometimes it comes up with words that are completely irrelevant. You know, it's the same as a scanned radio sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we have to disregard some things.
Right, you kept mentioning the number 6 all the way through that. Is the number 6 significant to somebody? Important. Is it an important number to some? Is it a birthday number?
We.
You have a good night, morning, Heather. It's morning for you now, isn't it, Heather? You have a good morning. Thanks for coming on. Elizabeth said she just heard weak. Yeah, I heard important, Anne. I heard, when we were doing that I heard the number 6 about 7 or 8 times.
Funny Dave isn't coming through.
Deb said 2 different voices have said Sam. Sam, can you just ask him a few questions while I just quickly nip to the loo.
All right.
Thank you.
Right, can you tell me?
Devil.
No, we don't want to talk about the devil.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Dave? Is Dave or David here? Or could you tell me who Dave or David is? If you can hear my voice, can you say Dave or David?
Innocent.
Innocent.
Honest.
Spurs, can you say my name? Just to show that you're here, that you can hear me. Periodically, I ask that same question, just to keep it in check. Could you tell me, are you happy? Happy or sad?
Are you alone or are you all together? Yeah, I'll keep hearing Anne.
Oh.
That was definitely a child's voice.
It sounded like hell too.
To say that.
Yeah.
He's coming. Who's coming? Me. Dave.
Who is Dave?
Why is Why is the name Dave coming through on a lot of people's spirit boxes at the moment? What is the significance of the name Dave?
Head.
Head. Whose head? Why are you smirking, Sam?
Huh?
Why were you smirking when it said head?
I thought it said head. Could Dave be the head of your words or
Group.
yeah? Is Dave in charge?
Mom.
No.
Man. It's the longest session I've done in months.
Yeah, we'll wind it down in a minute, Sam, because we've been going over an hour. We'll just have
Yeah.
a general chat. That light, that I'll tell you, that plasma light on the front really sucking me in. I've spent the entire hour staring at that light.
Yeah, but the round one.
Yeah, it's really hypnotic to watch.
Yeah. They're actually they're you'll see them on a lot of spirit boxes, but they're actually wearable plasma for if you're going to a rave or a disco.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was Anne Boleyn who lost her head, wasn't
Yeah.
It's really funny that name Dave is coming through. It's coming through on so many people's different boxes at the moment, Sam.
I'm getting
Listen.
I'm getting Dave 8 out of 10 sessions, and I do a lot of sessions. You know.
Have we got to listen to Dave? Has Dave got something to tell us? Are you okay for us to leave you in peace now? Is there anything else you'd like to say before we turn the box off? Well, that sounded like it was growling at me.
Leave.
Leave. Okay, we will leave. Thank you for talking to us tonight. It is appreciated. I think that was a very clear bugger off, Sam.
Right. We'd like to thank you for communicating with us tonight.
Yes, thank you for speaking to us.
Can we speak to you again soon? Would that be okay? Right, we'll turn off now, will we? I'll just briefly show you that. Sorry.
I'll say we're buzzing, Sam. That's it.
That's. And it's connected to the top there, that's all. This is the way it performs.
Yeah.
No noise gates, no processor pedals or anything like that.
Yes, it's a really good box. Don't you think it's interesting though, Sam, when you do those sessions, how many times you ask something? I know you get a lot of bunkum and wild comments come through, but there's also a lot of very relevant responses to what you ask.
Well, the interesting thing is when the responses come through, there's a very small window for that response to come through.
Mm-hmm.
With a conventional spirit box, you have this jibber jabber of radio stations,
Yeah.
which the human ear has to decipher to see what is response, what isn't. But with this, it's the radio is restricted. But it goes to show you how much the PSP7 has messed up
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
by adding artificial noise.
Mm-hmm.
The circuit in the PSP7 it was actually installed in these boxes, as far as I know. But I know he says that he uses that particular circuit in most of his boxes, and it doesn't involve static.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's got some sort of knowledge about frequencies.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, we're not going through. Pareidolia is a little bit less on that mode on that particular box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob has also worked and used a circuit, which he's doing now, and he says you know, he's not going to go back to forward speech anymore because he's using this reversed speech of live radio,
Yeah.
and he's still getting forward responses,
Yeah.
which eliminates pareidolia. And actually, some of the skeptics came back to him and says, "You've actually debunked our skepticism, and that's amazing." You know, I think the original circuit was built by the Holtes,
Right.
which they recently installed in a box, which they also have a kind of a tuning knob which you can change from forward and reverse speech.
Yeah.
You know, so that the thing is, I've just looked at a documentary, and I seen a guy doing full communication through something which was like a white noise machine,
Mm-hmm.
but the frequency that was coming out sounded like an electric razor,
Right.
and the voice that was coming through was kind of robotic,
Yeah.
but it was two-way conversation. But we're talking about, I think, 1980s.
Yeah.
You know, I've left some documentaries in my community tab.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting, you know.
Debbie's asking how much does Rob sell them boxes for?
$175 as far as I know. The website is called theparaAwakening.com. Yeah. And his YouTube channel is the same name.
Well, what I'll do later, Sam, if you send me the link later on to his website, and I'll put the link to the channel in the comments later on, so if people want to go and have a look, they can go and have a look. I've got to be honest. That's probably one of the best boxes I've ever heard, especially with all the white noise cut out.
I haven't used any other box in the last 2 months.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that box.
Thing is, Rob is more interested in doing the ITC himself than making loads of boxes. But he says he might make another dozen or so.
Yeah,
you know, which goes to show that some of these people, the paranormal is their passion, not making money.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and for $175, you'd pay probably. Well, I know over here, I think them going A normal PSB7 over here is going for about 80 quid at the moment, which is over $100 if you convert it. So for $175, that's a bloody good buy.
You're a little bit off there. The older generation one without the PSP7T is the one that's replacing these other ones. I don't think they're going to come out with the ordinary one anymore. They're replacing it with the T, and the T is about $100 or £100.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So for $175, that box is a bargain. It's an absolute bargain.
I don't like the PSP7 for the fact that the noise.
Yeah. And the audio is perfectly clear on that. It's got beautiful audio on it.
Yeah, and it is a variable sweep. The thing we found with the reverse speech is in the reverse speech is in a lot of apps, but the thing about the app makers, they haven't tuned the speed in right.
Yeah.
If the speed is right, there's a little sweet spot there where it'll work. But I got audio of Rob's. Rob ran his Spurt Box for half an hour, and he says, "Feel free to use that audio and do a session." I've used it, and it's not as good as the live radio for some reason. I've messed around with banks, and I'm still not successful in it. The radio is still more successful to me than
the reason I don't like banks is because you're basically getting exactly the same audio coming through all the while. So it limits, for me, I think it limits what they've got to work with.
The frequency is the important part. Now, I did try to put in lots of different frequencies, but the thing was, there was so many different frequencies that I ended up with a vertigo attack, and I ended up in bed. I got really, really sick from it. So, it just goes to show you the power of frequencies and sound. I thought I was doing a great job doing this audio bank with loads of different sounds of storm, sounds of rain, sounds of. But when you mix it all together, if you mix this, you could make a cocktail that could make anyone sick. And I managed to do it to myself.
See, this is one of the reasons I won't use an EMF pump, because I know a lot of paranormal channels, they love to use EMF pumps because they seem to believe, and it ain't something I personally believe, but a lot of people believe that if you fill your area with EMF, you've got more chance of having some kind of contact. For me, I don't like them. The main reason I don't like them is they give me an headache. If I sit anywhere near an EMF pump, I get an headache. The other thing is, if you're surrounding yourself with an EMF field, the mind is also affected to the point where you can actually hallucinate. So I believe a lot of these people who say, we see a lot more things when we use an EMF pump, that is actually the EMF field working directly on your mind and not actually anything paranormal happening. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if you're a certain distance from it, it won't affect you. But I have worked on, I built a couple, and one of them I left on by accident. This was a high-powered one. This was 12 volts.
Yeah.
So I had a ton of these batteries, and basically it was a computer fan with some magnets on it.
Yeah.
And it was I left it beside me on the desk, but I didn't realize that it was on. And next thing I got this headache, and the headache feels like your head is spinning, just like the magnets.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's one of the worst headaches you can actually get.
Yeah, I cannot go anywhere near an EMF pump without getting a really bad headache. That's why I refuse to use them.
Yeah. A lot of people believe in this, the EMF meter and stuff like that. Rob, an electrician asked Rob. He says, you do paranormal investigating, do you? And he says, yeah. He says, the one thing I don't understand is why are you using an EMF meter? I says, they interact with the EMF meter now. I says, but the EMF meter is designed for picking up man-made electricity.
Yeah.
Should you not be better off with a static meter or a static detector? Do you know? I have a static detector, but it won't give you a reading. It'll just turn on and off a light. That's about it, you know?
See, because there's very few people who've actually researched using static at the moment. And I suppose that would be really interesting to try, because if you listen to a lot of people who have actually reported witnessing things or seeing things, and it's a very common saying, it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. That is actually a direct effect of static electricity. So are they actually generating static fields rather than EMF fields?
Yeah. Well, I have a documentary. It's in my community tab, and it was about measuring the EMF field in a room. And this guy, he got an oscilloscope, you know, that measures frequencies and you get the graph. Yeah. So he used an antenna, which is just a roll of wire around the room, and he was picking up between 1 and 2 volts of electricity.
Yeah.
Which turned out, when he matched up the frequency, it was a local radio station.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it nowadays, Sam, you've got normal radio stations going on all the while. You've got taxis driving past houses all the while using their radios. Everybody in an house has probably got a mobile phone now, which are also kicking out radio signals. You know, the amount of interference we're probably adding that will trigger EMF meters is unbelievable nowadays. Compared to if you went back to the 80s, it would be a lot less than what it is nowadays, especially with the mobile phone network.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The mobile phone network is the one.
Yeah.
And if you're, you know, I don't want to be slapping down ghost hunters and stuff. But if you're using an EMF meter on a live stream, and somebody else is also doing a live stream in the same building, it's going to be, it's not.
And the thing that gets me as well, a lot of the times, if you see people, they're out doing an investigation, they're filming on the phone and holding the meter in their hand. Now that meter is probably less than 2 feet away from that phone. That phone, even though it's not being used as a phone at the time, is still emitting signals all the while to keep in touch with the tower. So that EMF meter is going to be picking up them pulses off the phone, as you know, before you even consider wiring in the walls or in the floors and ceilings.
You'll often find too that somebody will put out an EMF meter, and next thing it'll start spiking, and then they'll ask, "Can you?" You know, they'll ask when it spikes, which could be a telephone signal or anything like that. Then they'll say, "Oh, there's action here on the meter. Let's ask, can you do it again?" I've done it myself.
Yeah, because your phone actually puts out a signal every few seconds to keep telling the network where it is. Well, you know, it's constantly in communication with the nearest mobile phone tower.
Yeah, the team I worked with, unless they were doing a live stream, people are reminded to turn off their phones, leave them in the car if possible.
Yeah.
If you
and just put in the comment, best equipment is yourself, to be honest. And I've always said that, Anne. The best piece of equipment you can take to any investigation is your own body.
Yeah. The thing is, you can't document that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But, you know, I do believe that the best thing, you know, the best sensing equipment you can have is your own body when it comes to, you know, an investigation.
Oh, if you're sensitive enough, you'll sometimes feel these changes in it's like a static field,
Yeah, yeah,
more than
yeah,
anything else. It's like putting your hand through some cobwebs, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But you can't. You can tell viewers if you're filming it for YouTube or Facebook.
Hmm.
I feel an energy here. You've got to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
If you've been caught doing dodgy stuff in the past, who's going to
Hmm.
believe you now? Well, a lot of people will, but to me, if you muck up once, if you fake once, that's it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm stuck for stuff to watch.
Where do you see ITC going in the future, Sam? What other things could people start? Do you think people might start using for ITC? Because the spirit boxes have been popular for years now. Do you think there's anything else going to start, coming in that might start to be, CB radios, anything like that?
Well, ham radios have been involved in ITC research for a long time,
Hmm.
and these ITC researchers, according to George Beek, who was I don't know much about him. I only learned about him today, but
Yeah.
he emphasizes the importance of ham radio operators
Hmm.
in the field of ITC research. But there is lots of other things. You've
Yeah.
got your visual through TV, uh, computers, all sorts. But you don't see a lot of that research now.
Yeah.
I think the people that are really serious about it are, I don't know, are they embarrassed by YouTube and are just putting it on a serious site and they don't want the ghost hunt?
Yeah. See,
Oh,
because nowadays these little mobile monitors are becoming very popular. Like 7-inch monitors. If you can plug one of those, turn one of those on and just have it plugged into the empty frequencies, maybe they could start being used for visual ITC. Maybe somebody could come up with something along them lines, and not only the audible ITC, maybe with all this new computer technology that's coming in, visual ITC might see a resurgence because visual ITC has gone more into the background since the spirit boxes became more popular. Personally, I think that some of the stuff that they used to get in the 70s and 80s visually on TV screens was actually even more compelling than the audio stuff.
yeah, I've seen a lot of that stuff today. It was brilliant. Um, as far as radio ITC and stuff, is the hacked radio? Is it giving us that two-way conversation? And it's not, and very often you'll get one or two words and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I keep feeling every time I do a session that the spirit box is actually restraining it
Yeah.
to the point where they can only get out one or two words. I've had a 5-word sentence once, to be honest, and it wasn't very pleasant. But there must be another way to this where the two-way conversation can take place.
Yeah.
I've seen some of these researchers who've had a one-to-one conversation. What was his name? I can't remember his first name. I know his second name was O'Neill. He was talking to a researcher who had passed away, a well-known scientist in the field, and he was having this two-way conversation through a very a strange kind of a frequency. It sounded like like a electric razor
Yeah.
or clippers, that kind of sound, and
Hmm.
it was the robotic sound that was coming through. And the scientist that was communicating with him was getting a little bit frustrated because O'Neill was up at 4:30 in the morning, and
Yeah.
he had a challenging day because he was fixing his transmission in his car,
Yeah.
and he wanted to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy, the scientist who had passed away, possibly doesn't have to sleep and
Yeah.
didn't take that into account in that. And he says, really, do you mind if I go and get some rest because I'm extremely tired? And it was clear communication like I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Do you think that whatever we're communicating with actually has any concept of time? Because I've done spirit box sessions in the past, and I've done Ouija board sessions in the past, where I have asked people, what year is it, and they've given me dates from way back. I'm talking 17, 18, and 1900s.
Well, looking into the early bits of this, the time and space is completely different to
Hmm.
the way we see it as far
Yeah.
as these researchers are coming up with. And I possibly got an answer to why we only see the ghost of Elizabethan and the last couple of 100 years.
Yeah.
You don't see cave people and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. Beek believed that when we pass on, that we go into an astral plane.
Right.
But on that astral plane, there is a number of different planes.
Yeah. Different levels.
So, is it possible that we can only communicate, or the communicators can only communicate when they're on a certain astral plane?
The ones
When,
nearest to ours.
yes, it's like he drew it in a kind of a staircase kind of a thing. You
Hmm.
you you descend to the next astral plane after a certain time or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, is it possible that when you get to that certain astral plane, communication with the living, is there a possibility that that communication can take place?
Yeah.
And is that the reason why we don't see, you don't see ghosts of cavemen?
Yeah.
Or,
See, I've got another theory with that as well about when people say, "Well, why don't you see dinosaurs?" Which is tied into stone tape theory. As you know, stone tape theory is along the lines of energy is recorded into surrounding materials to the event as it happened, be it stone, wood, whatever's in the vicinity. Now, energy, if it's got no power source, will eventually fade out. It will convert to another energy. And I think one of the reasons we don't see things like cavemen is it has got to the point where that energy has recycled so much it's no longer in the form it was when it was originally recorded. I think in, say, 100 years' time, people won't be seeing the things that we're seeing now. They won't be able to go as far back as we did because I think the energy, dissipates after a certain amount of time. So the further on you go, the more energy backlog starts to disappear.
well, when you think about things like this, the magnetic cassette tape,
Hmm.
which you can use for EVPs.
Yeah, they degrade. They degrade over time.
Yeah, I mean, like you uh, you pick up information through the magnetic tape, but it will not last forever. You know, um, you could say that when the device is turned on, it's turned that information, that data is turned into
Hmm.
sound, energy, or
Yeah,
frequency. But over time it will degrade, and you won't see it anymore. Possibly the same with stone tape theory.
yeah.
Which isn't a spurs or apparition.
Hmm.
It's not. It's like a hologram. It's not
Yeah,
a real ghost. You can't communicate with this. That's why people see. That's why people see apparitions and they're not interacting with them
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Because
It's
they're
a
residual.
Yeah.
Right, we got a couple of interesting points here, Sam. James says, so if spirits are energy, do you think they have a time limit before they just fade away, or do they remain forever? Personally, I think residual hauntings will eventually fade away. Intelligent hauntings, I think, are a different type of thing. I think that with an intelligent, and this is only my opinion, could be totally wrong, I honestly believe that intelligent hauntings where people communicate with what they're seeing, they have some way of actually recharging themselves. But I think residuals do eventually convert into other energy forms and fade away. That's that one. What's your opinion on that, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, like the brain is a physical computer to our bodies, but the mind is actually a spiritual.
Electronic impulse. It's electronic impulse, isn't it? We are basically electronic impulses.
Yeah, and the mind is not a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing or
Yeah,
a non-physical thing, and that is the energy that they say passes over when we pass on.
yeah.
Um, but
Deb, go on. Sorry.
when you think of it as science kind of thing, energy and the very sentence that got me into ITC, energy can be changed but not destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Right. Deb says, what about virtual glasses to investigate with? That's actually an interesting one, Deb, because virtual reality is just becoming popular on computers and is just becoming affordable. It'll be interesting to see 5 years down the line if people are reporting strange glitches and things while using VR. It may be possible in the future that, paranormal investigators do start using VR equipment to get things. Very interesting one. Mandy said there as well, unless it gets charged. Yeah, that was what I was saying with the intelligent stuff, Mandy. I believe personally that an intelligent haunting has some way of renewing itself, whereas a residual one just plays and plays and plays until, like a cassette tape, it wears out. And I think the reason you're down with residual hauntings, they're not constantly playing, is I believe that there has to be certain conditions met for that actual energy to replay itself in the first place. Be it, a period of time or a certain moon, the moon in a certain thing, because the moon affects the planet. There's definitely something else that we don't understand about residual hauntings, that there's got to be some kind of hidden trigger, because otherwise these residuals would literally be playing over and over constantly. There's got to be some kind of external trigger to trigger a residual haunting to replay itself.
Yeah, when you
That's my
think
personal thought.
yeah, when you think about it, so many people have seen a headless horseman,
Yeah,
a man on a horse with no head.
yeah,
Now, the horse and the man are two different entities, which tells me that it's just a replay of an event.
yeah,
Now, people, do you know these TV shows? They go along with this headless or feetless or mostly headless, and go along with a story that they were executed and they were hung or whatever, and their head was chopped off. That is not necessarily the case. If it's a residual haunting or a stone tape theory, if that energy is wearing away, sometimes you'll see the feet starting to disappear or the head.
yeah.
Just like a videotape where you get these crackling on the top or crackling on the bottom where your tape is starting to get damaged,
Yeah. Anne says, well, everything holds energy to a certain level. If you break everything down to a molecular level, Anne, everything in the universe is literally constructed of energy. We don't just hold a little bit of energy, we are totally energy. It's just that we're energy in a more solid form to us. Everything on a molecular level is energy. Everything. Deb's put there, agree. The full moon the other night raised high tides and moved the ship in the Suez Canal. Nothing man-made worked. Exactly, Deb. The moon exerts a massive influence on this planet. a massive influence. Stephen says makes you wonder where his head is.
Well, it's the head. It's not a true. It's only a picture. It's like a projector basically.
Yeah.
It's just that the film, which is the wall or the ground or whatever is projecting that image, is worn away through time, so you don't see the full image.
Yeah.
So you're minus a head or minus feet. At the bottom or the top goes, but it's not a spirit. It's just a picture. It's a picture of that energy. Same two people had an argument in an apartment, and something really serious went down. A massive argument that releases energy, and that energy can be absorbed by the walls and floors and whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Mandy's brought an interesting point up, Sam, and I'm going to ask you the question on this. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Mandy's put, agreed, if you watch Sam's other ITC sessions, you can see the difference in the communications depending on her energy. Sometimes it's very relaxed and sensitive, but you can feel the energy so strong. Would you say, Sam, that when anybody does an investigation, be it ITC, ghost hunting or whatever, do you believe that the people's emotional state who are present can actually play a part in what occurs?
Yeah. Lots and lots of people believe that if you're in a bad mood, don't investigate, or if you're in a bad mood, don't do a spur communication session. And I believe that. When you're investigating, sometimes the energy can be drawn from you. I do sessions, and I feel the energy sometimes drawn from me.
Yeah.
If you're in a vulnerable state, just don't do it. If I'm not in good form, I'm not projecting good energy, so I'm not doing. That's why I work ahead.
Yeah.
Put out a session, way before time, sort of thing, so I can take a break whenever I want, and I do take breaks.
Yeah. Mandy says, or to throw a spanner in the works, is it memories from previous lives that trigger visions? Could be. Do you believe, Sam, that a lot of these people who deliberately go out looking for Desmonds encounter Desmonds because it's their mind frame that they've gone with in the first place? People have gone to a place expecting to encounter something negative, so that they encounter something negative. Do you believe that your state of mind can actually attract certain types of things? Like if you go with a positive outlook, you're more liable to attract positive. If you go with a negative, you're more liable to attract negative. Or do you believe people can convince themselves so much that a particular thing is going to happen that they can physically project it into this world and see it?
It's a difficult one. If you're talking about spur communication through a spirit box, if you call out for Desmonds often enough, you're going to get Desmonds coming up in the box.
Yeah.
If you call out for Scooby-Doo often enough, you're going to get it on the box. If you go into an investigation expecting that everything is evil, all I can say is good luck to you.
Yeah. See, because I do believe to a certain extent that you can influence what happens, and I do believe sometimes that what happens is not necessarily ghost related. I believe it could actually have a more human explanation, though it would still be classed as paranormal. I believe sometimes things could be put down to some form of astral projection, where people have wanted something so bad that they can actually affect their surroundings for it to occur.
Yeah. Can I go off topic just for a second? Sandra has just come in there. I recently made a comment on one of Sandra's sessions. She is one of these, and she was wondering why Ed is coming up on the box. I'm getting the Ed as well, and listen out for Emma as well. It's related to the guy that made the box, and that's Rob. There's a paranormal story connected with his house, which Ed and Emma are connected to. Why we're getting it on our boxes, but then again, they're made in his house. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It's like that thing we've had tonight with Dave, Sam. Why do you think that, so many different people are getting the name Dave coming through all of a sudden? Because if everybody was getting the name Jesus coming through, you could understand it. Because Jesus is somebody of importance for millions of people. But why do you think certain names come through to different people? Do you think that somebody on the other side is that desperate to get a message through that they're going to everybody to try and get that message across?
I don't know, but we kind of got something tonight, which gave us this indication that what was the exact words that came out? Was it leader or head?
Head.
Well, was that
and then listen?
Was it a random head word that came out? I don't know. But it was a reply to what we were asking, who is Dave? And it says head. But is that a physical head or is it a leader? I don't know. The only information I'm getting when asking specific questions about Dave, and it's very hard. I've done 30 or 40 sessions related to Dave at this stage. There's only 2 responses that I know of. He's dead and protect.
Yeah. He's dead and what?
Protect.
That's interesting.
So if we add the head to it, we could be making this all fit, There's nothing scientifically that we can back up with this. But it is weird that a lot of people are getting Dave and David. But I thought it was a DJ, but I can go back to months and months ago. When I was driving around with PSP7 plugged into my car, driving around, driving out the road and having a spirit box session while driving the car, I was still getting Dave.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a DJ, but the thing is, I've been doing spirit boxes day and night. They can't be talking about Dave all the flipping time.
Yeah.
If Dave is a DJ, DJs work from, they have a show from 11 to 2 or they have their time slots kind of.
But people in different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, wouldn't all be picking up Dave anyway, would they? If it was a DJ on a radio station, And this name Dave, I've heard Dave come through on Julie's Spirit Box in Australia. Dave comes through quite regularly. You've picked it up. We've got it here tonight. I've heard it on a few recently where the name Dave's come through. Jack's asked something interesting as well. Brett, when Sam investigates at her house, the spirits are nice, but when she goes to Rachel's house, she gets angry Desmonds come through. They are not expecting Desmonds. Why would this be? One explanation I can think of is basically the area itself. It could possibly be that the land that Rachel's house is built on could have a more negative connection than where Sam lives. I do believe that, things that have occurred on the land before a particular property can influence hundreds of years into the future. For all we know, there could have been a battle on the site of Rachel's house.
Oh, you don't know that happened. Do you know when I was growing up when I was a kid?
Yeah.
That area of the city was on the news every day.
Right.
For a bomb explosion or somebody getting shot. There used to be a block of flats. So these were towers of flats that were built in the late 50s, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they only lasted till 1970 something, I think.
Yeah.
I think there was two separate blocks of flats that were demolished, and there was another blocks of flats. Now they were demolished again, and new houses built on it. So that land has been used over and over and again.
Yeah.
But back in the 70s and 80s, that's a place you just would not set foot in.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't certainly explain the Desmonds and stuff. Now, I'm not going into Rachel's personal stuff, but is possibly Rachel going through stuff that she's not telling me?
Yeah.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
You know, I come home here, I relax, I do my relaxation. I sit back, I look at the television. Her look on things may be different than mine and could be influencing the session. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then again, it could be the land as well. The land is really it has a really messed up history.
Yeah.
It's seriously bad.
Yeah. Mandy's put, I wondered whether it was jealousy, as it's not Sam on her own communicating one-on-one, if that makes sense to anyone. To be honest with you, when I used to work with a lot of mediums, you know, that they often used to interchange who they communicated with. I've never really heard of negativity coming through just because a communicator's got someone with them. It could be possible, Mandy, but personally, I've never heard of someone who communicates via spirit box being possessive and just literally wanting to communicate with one person all the while. I don't know what your opinion is on that, Sam.
I just, my mind wandered for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, Mandy, what wondered is, are they getting nasty because Rachel's there and they want you all to themselves?
I don't know. I just don't know. Half the time, I think they're just messing with you. They're not, you know. If they were evil spirits, if you look back over history, an evil spirit would be a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Would disguise himself as nothing out of the ordinary and strike at the weak point.
Yeah. See, this is always my point with people when they go out and do these investigations and they claim demons have attacked them or demons have come through a Ouija board and done all sorts of weird and nasty things, or demons have been growling on their EVP recordings and stuff. A demon is, if you read the Bible, they are manipulative and sly. If something is trying to claim your soul, the last thing it is going to do is approach you originally in a very negative manner. They are going to appear to you in the most innocuous, innocent form possible until they've got you in the clutches, if the Bible is to believe the nature of demons. Because if something appears to you and growls at you or scratches you, you're going to be running a mile. There's no way that thing is going to coerce you into turning evil. They appear in the form of children or that, you know, or something innocent until they have got their claws into you, if demons are to be believed. That's my opinion anyway.
I mean, like the last session we done in Rachel's house that we just put out on that a couple of days ago, I was just messing around with them. I says, I don't believe you're demons. Just tell me who you are. And next thing, demon. And I went, here we go again. Oh, damn. You know, it confirmed the second time, demon and that. But I don't know. I don't know. Are they? I think in those situations we're being messed with, but we're dealing with an unseen communication here. So we just, we're going into this one blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
See,
but I
the thing is, Sam, I believe that you can communicate with things through a spirit box that have got a sense of humour exactly the same as we have. I believe when people pass over, they remain exactly how they were in life. And for all it could be, you could be communicating with somebody who you've communicated with before. They've played you up, and they've been sitting on the other side going, "Oh, it's them two again. Let's go and play them up again and tell them we're demons." And that could be happening. There could be no evil intent in it whatsoever. It could just be their form of joking.
if I pass away and if I can haunt to my heart's content, there's a lot of ghost hunters out there that I am
Yeah.
going to.
I'm going to own various people's shower blocks because I'll find that entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names, but you can imagine. It'll make great videos for them.
So if you hear your shower curtain rattling, Sam, you'll know I'm there.
Oh, gee.
I'll put my hands on the curtain from the other side like Psycho.
I got I says in a session one time, do you see me all the time? And they says I'm watching and that. And then I says, well, if you're watching, do you watch me all the time? And then I'm thinking, that's a little bit. Hope a lot of this stuff isn't going to come back to me when I pass over. Like,
Yeah,
I'm going to get a list.
The thing is, Sam, if you start to go too deep down that rabbit hole, you'd never have a shower or take a dump ever again. Because you'd be absolutely paranoid that somebody's standing there beside you watching all the while you're doing it. You've got to be careful how far down that rabbit hole you're prepared to go.
Oh, there'd be no more hanky-panky, that's for sure.
No,
With somebody else or yourself.
Exactly. I'd like to presume that they do know when you need your privacy.
Why did I go there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the last thing you want, if you're in your bedroom having a little quiet rub-a-dub, is your grandmother standing at the bed next to you watching, is it? Let's be honest. Nobody wants grandma watching you doing that.
You go up to the gates of heaven and grandma's there, I want a word with you.
Yeah, exactly. I do believe that they do give you privacy. I do believe they do. Because I really don't want to think that my relatives have been standing beside me when I've done some of the things I've done. Put it that way.
Do you notice how we pussyfooted around it and then we just went for it?
Yeah,
like we normally do?
Yeah, exactly.
We circle around it and then we just go for it like.
Yeah. You might as well just say it like it is.
Yeah, we beat around the bush and then we just go heads into it like.
Mm-hmm. Because I personally believe, and this is going to sound quite serious. I do believe that there are some constraints, because if you think about, you've got rapists in the world and stuff like that. If they passed over and they could carry on doing that kind of thing on a regular basis, you'd be hearing, and I know this sounds awful, but you'd be hearing a lot more entity cases than you do. I know the entity was supposedly based on that kind of thing, but it ain't something you hear about often. So personally, I think there's got to be some kind of mechanisms in place that prevent them from doing certain things.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of human behavior, and there is a section in society who is proud to be called evil.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are.
Yeah.
And not all. We all have some good and bad, but some people would be proud to be called evil. Yeah. And they would possibly, after death, behave in that same way.
Mm-hmm. You know, because you've got things like psychopaths and sociopaths.
Yeah.
If they could come back and interact and do the things they did in life, you know, we'd be in chaos now, because you know we'd be being attacked by things you've got no defense from. You know, and they'd be able to get away with it on levels unbeknown to them on this side of life. So I do believe that there are mechanisms in place that prevent stuff like that. For the
Yeah.
same reason, I believe you'll never get an answer on the spirit box about what's the other side like. That was why I deliberately asked it tonight, because then you always get the silence. It's a
Yeah.
question they just refuse to answer.
Yeah. You know, with tones and growls and stuff, you get a lot of growling on the Panasonic DR60
Hmm.
because it produces a certain frequency.
Yeah,
So, you know, it depends on what spirit box or what communication device you're using, whatever frequency, that voice may not be the same in all
yeah,
the communications that you do.
yeah.
Do you know? Um, and does the human voice, the sound of the human voice, does that still exist in the spirit world?
Yeah. Well,
When we
if you think about it, the only reason we hear as we do is it's actually sound waves passing through air. Now, if they're on an energy level, they're obviously hearing a different way. You know that they've got to be hearing on some kind of energy basis. Are they hearing those waves directly now, rather than things passing through air?
it's very difficult because there has been a lot of claims. This is before Steve Hope was pushing the DR60. We're going way back further than this. We're going back to the late 90s when this DR60 came into
Hmm.
existence. There is a lot of people that had that recorder and swore blind that they heard the spirits of their dead children communicating with them, and
Hmm.
produce those EVPs in
Hmm.
documentaries. That is paranormal science, not
Yeah,
this ghost hunter
yeah.
scary stuff. The real paranormal science, and those EVPs were brought to places like Panasonic and Sony and
Hmm.
all these other audio labs and stuff like that for analysis.
Yeah.
And you know, so it's when it comes to this, there's lots and lots and lots of questions with not very straightforward answers, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm just answering a chat thing. But yeah, you know, I honestly don't believe we'll ever get full answers to what we're looking for. I think, you know, I think we may get a more. I think we may get more understanding, but I don't think we'll ever get full realization. I really don't, on a lot of things.
Thing
On a
thing
lot
is,
of, not just life after death. I think a lot of things concerning the paranormal will never be fully explained.
yeah, the thing is, I've learned a lot today by looking at scientific documentaries on YouTube, which is getting really, really scarce because it's being overlapped by all this paranormal, scary bullshit.
Hmm.
Uh, but this particular channel, who only has 800 subscribers, 870 something subscribers, I'm
Yeah,
not surprised on YouTube. But it's some of the most brilliant documentaries in paranormal science.
yeah,
And the channel is Paranormal Research Association.
yeah. There, there,
Great.
there, there, there are still some good videos out on YouTube of investigations from the 70s and 80s. The only problem is you've really got to dig for them on YouTube, because the algorithms push all this entertainment shit to the top of the lists. You know, so you really have got to dig if you want to find the real genuine stuff on YouTube nowadays.
and you're talking to about a lot of these paranormal researchers. They don't have time for YouTube.
Hmm.
You know, they don't have
Yeah.
time to be putting a video out on YouTube.
Yeah.
You got people like Annabella Cardoso. She's only got 500 and something subscribers. She's one of the flipping greats, but she doesn't show her evidence on
Yeah.
camera, but
Yeah.
she tells you how to do EVPs
Yeah.
with your background audio support and how to do the direct radio voices, all that kind of stuff. And she's very good at explaining that stuff, but she doesn't show you big piles of evidence. Oh, guys, look at me, I got this,
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. That's why I'm at a crossroads now. What do I do?
Hmm. Yeah.
I've invested thousands into the paranormal, but I don't want to go down the ghost hunting route.
Yeah.
What I have done, I have to admit that some of the stuff that I've done is cringe.
Hmm.
But you have to learn somewhere, I suppose. You know.
Right, Sam, I think we're going to have to wind up now because we've been on over 2 hours. It's been brilliant having doing that box and everything tonight. And, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's passed a nice couple of hours.
Do you know, it was different that your voice was fed directly into the.
It was really interesting to do it. We'll have to do it again because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do it again.
We'll hear more on playback. You know, sometimes on the moment
it sounds different to what you actually realise it is.
Well, when you're on a live stream too, an audio engineer told me that when we talk, the person on the other end doesn't hear us until about 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
10 to 12 seconds later.
Yeah.
So anything can happen in between that 10 seconds.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, watch back and listen back.
Yeah. And we'll see what else has popped up on there. Right. Thank you all for coming in, everybody. And thank you, Sam, for setting... Coco, will you shut up? We don't need your input. Thank you for setting that box up. It's much appreciated. Stay on when we go off, Sam, and we'll have a bit of a chat. We will be back on again Friday. Sorry I wasn't on last Friday, but I was a bit ill. I had a bit of a bad weekend last weekend, to say the least. But should be back for as long as I don't get a repeat of last week. We will definitely be on next Friday with Sam again, if Sam wants to come on.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, Sam, that's the prompt for you to say yes or no. Right, so have a good night, everybody, and we will see you all Friday on this channel and probably chat to most of you on various other channels, on the Australian channels and stuff during the week and over the weekend. So have a good night, everybody, and keep yourself safe. Good night, all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.